Noir Mafia Stories presents the real underworld history of Atlantic City, the boardwalk city where Prohibition did not stop sin. It sold it. Atlantic City was not built to look dangerous. It was built to look beautiful. Hotels glowed over the ocean. Music spilled from clubs. Tourists came for fresh air, lights, and escape. But behind the bright boardwalk, another business was growing in the dark. When America banned alcohol, Atlantic City did not become clean. It became valuable. The law said people could not drink. The city understood that people still would. And every hidden bottle became a chance to make money. By day, the boardwalk looked like family vacations and ocean air. By night, it became a corridor of deals. The same city that sold postcards also sold whiskey, protection, gambling, and silence. Atlantic City's underworld did not survive on gangsters alone. It needed permission. It needed politics. It needed police who looked away, officials who stayed friendly, and a boss who understood that vice could be managed like a business. The most famous name tied to Atlantic City's prohibition machine was Enoch "Nucky" Johnson. He was not just a man in a suit. He represented a system: politics, favors, clubs, money, and protection wrapped into one smiling public face. Hotels were not only places to sleep. They were meeting rooms, storage points, payment centers, and safe places for men who did not want their business written down. In Atlantic City, luxury and crime could share the same elevator. The ocean made Atlantic City different. Liquor could arrive by boat, hidden by fog and darkness. Crates moved from water to sand, from sand to trucks, and from trucks into clubs where nobody asked too many questions. The boardwalk was the perfect symbol. Above it, tourists laughed and walked toward bright lights. Under it, men moved crates, counted money, and built a city that did not appear on official maps. Prohibition did not silence Atlantic City's nightlife. It made it more exciting. Every hidden club became a promise: music, drinks, gambling, and the feeling that the law had been left outside in the rain. Most visitors did not come to study corruption. They came to forget their lives for a weekend. But every room, drink, table, and show helped feed the machine. The city sold escape, and the underworld took its percentage. No criminal system survives without silence. In Atlantic City, silence could come from fear, friendship, or money. Some officers chased trouble. Others learned where not to look. Vice was not the only business. Protection became its own economy. Restaurants, clubs, gambling rooms, and small operators all learned the same lesson. If the city let you make money, somebody would arrive to collect. Alcohol brought people in. Gambling kept them spending. Behind curtains, upstairs rooms, and private doors, Atlantic City learned how to turn risk into revenue. The game was never only on the table. It was in the whole city. Atlantic City was more than a local playground. It became a meeting place. Men from different cities could come to the shore, sit in private rooms, and discuss business away from the streets that made them famous. The secret of Atlantic City was not chaos, it was order. The right people got protection. The wrong people got pressure. The city worked because everyone understood their place in the arrangement. For years, Atlantic City's machine looked untouchable. But money has a sound. It attracts attention. The bigger the parties became, the harder it was to pretend that everything was just tourism. Then the Great Depression arrived. Across America, people lost jobs, homes, and hope. Atlantic City still sold entertainment, but the mood changed. The city of pleasure now stood inside a country filled with pain. In hard times, illegal money became even more powerful. A man with cash could buy loyalty. A boss with jobs could buy silence. Atlantic City's underworld did not disappear during the Depression. It adapted. Atlantic City's genius was its smile. It did not look like a battlefield. It looked like a vacation. That made the machine easier to hide. People saw lights. They did not always see who controlled the switches. Eventually, outside eyes turned toward the shore. Investigators were not only interested in bottles or gambling tables. They were interested in the machine itself, how money moved, who protected it, and who benefited. For underworld figures, guns were not the only danger. Ledgers could be deadly. Taxes, income, gifts, unexplained money. These quiet details could do what rival gangsters could not. The public image began to crack. The man who once looked like the host of the city now looked like a target. Atlantic City had always depended on appearance. Once that appearance failed, the whole system felt weaker. No criminal city disappears in one raid. Machines survive because they are made of many parts. One man can fall, one club can close, one headline can pass, but habits of corruption can remain. When Prohibition ended, many people thought the bootleg empire would collapse. But the underworld had already learned too much. It had contacts, muscle, roots, money, and influence. Alcohol became legal. Power did not vanish. After repeal, the money shifted. Gambling, loans, protection, clubs, labor influence, and political favors kept the old habits alive. The city had learned how to profit from the shadows, and it did not forget. By dawn, the boardwalk could look innocent again. Rain washed the wood. The ocean erased footprints. But cities remember what happened in their rooms, under their streets, and behind their lights. Atlantic City did not invent sin. It packaged it. It gave vice a view of the ocean, a hotel room, a show ticket, and a political shield. That was the city's dark genius. Publicly, the city spoke about tourism, business, and respectability. Privately, power moved through favors, envelopes, and controlled silence. The clean city was often just a performance for the crowd. This was Atlantic City's underworld. Not only guns, not only gangsters, not only liquor. It was a full system hidden under lights, a place where pleasure, politics, and crime shook hands behind closed doors. Atlantic City promised America a clean escape, but during Prohibition, its brightest lights were powered by dark money. The boardwalk gave tourists a dream. Underneath it, another city was counting cash. And that is why Atlantic City became one of the most unforgettable playgrounds of the American underworld. This was Noir Mafia Stories. Subscribe for more real underworld history, Prohibition-era cities, mafia power, political corruption, and the hidden stories behind America's darkest empires.